How long does it take to DC fast charge a 2023 Genesis GV60? Well, I have got the numbers right here. Oh, damn it. Sorry. Hang on a second. This is the EV Pulse Charging Challenge. Watch this footage we shot. The Genesis GV60 is one of the most impressive electric vehicles we've evaluated here at EV Pulse. It's comfortable, pleasant to drive, and super luxurious. Plus, as our testing proves, this Genesis is also a charging champ, which makes it a great road trip vehicle. The example we tested was a performance all-wheel drive model, the higher of the two GV60 trims offered. We have a full video review of this EV, so make sure to watch that if you haven't already. Performance all-wheel drive GV60s have up to 483 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque with boost mode engaged. The vehicle's range is estimated by the EPA at an okay 235 miles. Of course, all-wheel drive is standard, as is a 77.4 kilowatt-hour battery pack, just like you can get in the Hyundai Ioniq 5 and Kia EV6, vehicles also built on the eGMP architecture. The GV60's peak DC fast charging rate should be around 235 kilowatts, just like its siblings. Hooked to a charger that delivers more than 250 kilowatts of juice, this vehicle should be able to go from a 10% state of charge to 80% in a lickety-split 18 minutes. Of course, we'll see if that's true or not. We'll also determine how long it takes to completely recharge this Genesis, figure out its peak charging rate, and much, much more. But first, a very long, very boring explanation of how we do our testing. Please skip ahead to the next chapter if you don't care about the details. Go on now, click ahead. You've been warned. So, for the EV Pulse Charging Challenge, we first deplete a vehicle's battery to between 5 and 10%, and we do all this by driving on the highway for at least 30 minutes to make sure the battery pack is warm. We then plug into a DC fast charger that delivers at least as many kilowatts of juice as the vehicle can accept, so the charger is not the limiting factor. Then we monitor the progress all the way to 100%, so afterwards we can analyze the complete charging curve. Lastly, a few ancillary notes. In normal use, you only want to DC fast charge to about 80%, because after that, the charging rate dramatically decreases, meaning the last 20% takes way longer to get, so be aware of that. DC fast charging is also best used on road trips. If you own an EV, most of the time you'll probably juice up at home using a slower, but more convenient and affordable level 2 charger. Finally, weather conditions are a big factor, as batteries don't absorb energy as quickly in the cold. During testing, the weather was balmy with an average temperature of 74.2 degrees Fahrenheit in Novi, Michigan. Okay, with all that sorted out, here's how the GV60 performed. Hooked to a 350 kilowatt Electrify America fast charger, this Genesis started out slow, don't we all? Taking in power at just 5 kilowatts. But it rocketed upward, hitting 210 by the time the battery reached a 4% state of charge. After that, the rate remained remarkably steady, almost as flat as a kitchen countertop. Then, with the battery at 46%, the GV60 achieved its peak charging rate of 224 kilowatts. That's a little shy of the 235 we expected for an eGMP vehicle, but it is still an excellent performance. After peaking, the rate stepped down to the high 180s for a few minutes before dropping again, where it hovered around 120 kilowatts. And then things got weird, like olive loaf. Seriously, who eats that stuff and what the hell is it even made of? Starting at about a 73% state of charge, the rate bounced around like a kid on a trampoline, inexplicably surging and sagging. The closely related Hyundai Ioniq 5 was much more consistent when we put it through the EV Pulse Charging Challenge, though that dip you see in the graph is not the car's fault. That's because the Electrify America charger quit working, which is a whole different story. After the GV60 hit about an 85% state of charge, the rate gradually tapered off, with the battery taking in energy at around 8 kilowatts when the vehicle finally hit 100%. So, how long did all this take? Well, the GV60 was hooked to that 350 kilowatt charger for about 55 minutes, which was all that was required to go from a 1% state of charge to 100. And as you can see in this state of charge versus time graph, the curve is nice and smooth. And this perfectly illustrates how things slow down the closer to 100% the battery gets. When we started this test, the vehicle had around 2 miles of range in reserve, but it took less than 5 minutes to reach an EPA estimated 50 miles. 100 miles was achieved in around 9.5 minutes. 150 miles was ours in about 15 minutes. And 200 miles were racked up at the half-hour mark. It's pretty impressive stuff. As for the all-important 10 to 80% time, it took around 23 minutes to achieve this, a little bit longer than the 18 minutes Genesis claims, but still, this is nothing to complain about. The Ioniq 5 was dead accurate in our testing, taking exactly 18 minutes to go from 10 to 80%. Overall, the GV60 absorbed a little more than 82 kilowatt hours of juice, which out the door cost us $37.38 from Electrify America at a rate of 43 cents per kilowatt hour. Juicing up at home with a slower level 2 charger is almost always a more affordable way to go. Unless you're on a road trip, then you pretty much have to DC fast charge since you can't bring a bucket of electricity along in the trunk. So, what did we learn today? Well, aside from straight-line acceleration, features, luxury, comfort, and design, DC fast charging performance is yet another reason to love the 2023 Genesis GV60. If this hatchback-like crossover only offered 300 miles of range on a charge or more, it could easily be one of the best electric vehicles available today. Anyway, make sure you check out our other EV Pulse Charging Challenge videos. We've got them for the Toyota BZ4X, Hyundai Ioniq 5, and Ford F-150 Lightning, to name a few. And you can bet your hard-earned wampum we've got more in the works, so make sure you're subscribed. For EV Pulse, I'm Craig Cole. Thank you, as always, for watching.